Absolutely, and let's take a look at what the US markets have been up to yesterday. Rather flat moves coming in, but nonetheless, all three indices have closed in the green. So let's take a look at what exactly happened and panned out over the US Wall Street yesterday. S&P 500 futures were near the flat line last night as traders awaited closely followed inflation data. They're also counting down to the end of what has been a strong first half of the year. Now, futures tied to the broad market index ticked up 0.1%, not much happening on that front at least. But after hours yesterday, Nike shares slipped more than 12% after the athletic retailer cut its full year guidance. Foot Locker shares have declined nearly 5%. Those moves follow a muted day on Wall Street as investors brace for the release of May's core personal consumption expenditure price index known as the PCE. Remember, this is the Fed's most preferred gauge of inflation, and this metric is going to have a big influence on what the Fed decides to do going ahead in terms of policy rates and their stance. Now, the Dow and S&P 500 each inched higher by around 0.1%. Nasdaq advanced 0.3%, so rather flattish moves like I mentioned earlier, but nonetheless in the green, and Nasdaq nominally outperforming both its peers. And considered to be the Fed Reserve's preferred inflation gauge, like I told you, the headline PCE reading is expected to be flat from April and higher by 2.6% compared to a year ago. Excluding volatile food and energy prices, the core PCE is forecast to come in at 0.1% higher on the month and 2.5% or 2.6% rather on an annualized basis. Inflation stats have been considered paramount by market participants as they try to guess when the Fed will begin cutting interest rates. Traders, on the other hand, will also monitor releases on spending, personal income and consumer sentiment throughout the morning. Those are some of the final potential market catalysts for the first 6 months of 2024, which officially concludes with Friday's closing bell. It is a day full of noteworthy data as it marks the end of the trading week, trading month, trading quarter, as well as the first half of the year. Now, if you take a look at what these indices have done, over the course of the last 6 months, which is a year-to-date basis, Nasdaq is up 19%, S&P 500 leading with gains of 15%, and Dow Jones is sub 4%. So, well, not much happening on the Dow front, but Nasdaq clearly continues to be the outperformer compared to both of its peer indices, all led by the rally that we've been seeing in Nvidia. And when we take a look at what these indices have done in the month of June, you have Nasdaq that's once again outperforming the other two with a gain of 6% for June, S&P 500 up 3%, and Dow with an uptick of 1%. So this is nearly what the move has looked like on the US markets yesterday, as well as for the month that went by, as well as for the first half of the year. Shift focus and let's talk about what's been happening with Europe, and slightly mixed moves coming in when I take a look at the European screen, because you have DAX that has closed with an uptick of 0.3%. However, FTSE under pressure yet again, down with a cut of 0.5%. Stock 600 also under pressure, 0.5% cut coming in on that index as well. So other than DAX, I believe you have all of those major European indices that have closed in the red. So slightly tempered from US, but nonetheless positive, but mixed coming in from Europe. That's what the global handover is looking like. But